I have Nolan Winter taking a big jump in minutes played this year. Who else is going to join him jumping up into this rotation? Let's talk Badgers basketball and more on Wisconsin. Let's go.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Harings. Thank you for tuning in, being an everydayer, and just being part of this community. I appreciate you guys so much. Today's episode, we were talking about the minutes per game on the basketball team. We're going to predict the entire rotation and how many minutes per game everybody's going to get. Basketball superlatives, something that's not getting talked about as much as it should. Who replaces Carter Gilmore? We got a great guest coming on, man. We have got Landon Teese coming on. UW River Falls, the sports talk on the radio there. Landon, you called in the other day, talked about basketball. I'm like, man, I got to get this guy onto a hoop show. Let's talk about it. I always like this show, so this is a fun one. We'll probably do another one as we get close to the season, but there's 200 minutes in a game.
Yep.
Right? We're going to predict the minutes per game for the Badgers rotation for the starters and the backups. I'll just let you start here. John Blackwell, where are you at?
Okay, so obviously last season, 31.2. I don't know about you. I don't see him going up too much more. I mean, he played quite a bit last season, so I put him at 32, 33 for right now. That obviously that might go up. We really have no idea with this, but obviously with how he played last year and how he was able to go to the combine out in LA this year, obviously I think that's going to go up a little bit. Tanje isn't here anymore, so we're going to need. And he's not playing the one anymore. He's going to be in his more natural fitting spot at the two. I bumped him up a little bit more than what he was at, but I don't quite think it's going to go up, significantly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. By the way, when I was doing this, I had a spreadsheet and I was like continually messing around with the last couple of minutes to shift
Yep.
him down. I had Blackwell 32 this year.
Okay.
Last year. He's a workhorse, but man, when you start getting above 32 minutes, 33, 34, 35 in the Big Ten, I don't know if you want him doing that. I have him at 32. I think we're right on point there. Yeah. I'll go to Nick Boyd next. I have him at 31. He was right around 30 last year. He was 29.9 last year, the point guard coming in. I think he's going to eat up a lot of what Tanje left behind just from a minute standpoint. I have him at 31, although I could see him higher, but I have him at 31.
I put him at 30. I have put him a tick down under Tanje. The reason that I didn't go higher with this one is because you have Janicki, who might be playing a little bit of one that has experience on that side, and Braden Carrington coming from Tulsa also might be able to do some ball handling with that as well. So I saw two people, also John Blackwell as well. So I saw a lot of people being able to help him out and give him some breathing minutes on the bench, which is why I didn't quite go higher with that one. The more people that you have in there, I think that Greg Gard is going to have a lot more flexibility with that and being able to rest him a little bit more if he needs to. Maybe he's having a heater, just let him go. But I just put him down at 30 just because of all the options that at the one Greg Gard is probably going to have in this upcoming season.
Yeah, that's a good take. And you don't want to grind him into the dirt either. 30 per game would be his career high anyway. He's going to the Big Ten. It's more physical. I think you're probably pretty on point there. What about Andrew Rohde? And by the way, for anyone wondering, I'm just kind of rolling down the starting lineup first. So this isn't necessarily in any particular order other than we're going to hit the starters first. Andrew Rohde coming over from Virginia. Where do you got him this year?
I put him at 26. I saw him kind of stepping in a little bit into that Max Klesmit minutes, but also, snatching up a little bit of Cam's minutes last season as well. So a little bit down from Max, but bumping up from Cam's minutes. I decided to put him at 26. Also, I mean, he's going to be in John Tanje's spot. I don't think he's going to get to 30. Obviously, it just kind of depends on the season that he's going to be having, transferring from the ACC over to the Big Ten, and really going to be in a shooting kind of offense this year. So, again, that can change, but I put him at 26, just kind of leveling off from Max and Cam, also taken from Tanje.
Okay, so this is going to be your first kind of deviation here. And I'll caveat it kind of depends if the shooting is real with him. Last year it was. kind of the year before that, it wasn't as much. So if the shooting's real, I got him down for 30 right now. He was at 31 last year for Virginia. The reason I think he's going to play a ton, and by the way, when I was going through this, I realized as I was doing my numbers, this is going to be a very heavy starting rotation. Like my starters are going to carry minutes. I like him out there a lot because I think he augments everyone else with his passing and his size. He's the type of guy that you can play with a smaller guard. You can also shift him to play some at the 2. You can play him in some smaller lineups. I think because of his defensive prowess, his ability to pass the ball, his ability to shoot, he can play with a lot of different lineups. I think there's going to be flexibility there with him that's going to allow him to stay on the court in spots where maybe some other people don't. I have him at 30, although I could definitely see him where you're at 2, but I went a little higher there.
Do you think that he's going to be like the defensive rock for Greg Gard?
So I don't know if he can be, but I think he has to be if this thing's going to work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, I don't think he can be Blackwell with the way Blackwell needs to score. Boys, you're 1. You want him guarding the other team's 1s. Rhodey just kind of has to be that guy, and I hope he can do it. What do you think? Can he do that? If they need him to, can he be that guy? That's the question.
That's what I'm saying. But when you just brought up that Blackwell thing, like when you have Coach on all the time, he says you either rest on offense or you rest on defense. Yep. And Blackwell is not going to be resting on offense the way that he's projected to go to the NBA this season. So his defensive caliber might not quite be where we want it to be, but Rhodey, it might be. He might be the guy that rests on offense potentially this season, even though his shot was great last year. It kind of just depends on what Greg Gard is really going to be drawing up for him, in the huddles.
It's going to be fascinating to watch him come over. I'll let you start with this one. Austin Rapp. Now I think it starts to get really interesting with some of these names we're going to get into. Rapp coming over last year, obviously from Portland. He averaged 33 minutes per game last year.
Yeah, I put him down for 24 just because of the transition from that lower level conference, the West Coast Conference out there, into the Big Ten. I don't think I don't know how well that's going to translate. He's young. He's going to be a sophomore. I put this as a long-standing, throughout the season. I think he's going to have a lot of ups and downs this season, Ryan. And because of that, I put him down a little bit more because I think that there's going to be a few games where he only plays 15, 17 minutes.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, actually. I have him down for 25. But for the same reasons you have, I think you nailed it. I think it's a really good point. That's a massive transition for him.
It's huge.
He's going to get beaten up more. He's going to play better athletes. He's going to get hit more. Yeah, I have him at 25. I think you and I are in the same boat there. And I think it could be something that ramps up in certain spots. Like some games he might be 33 minutes, like if just certain matchups. But other teams I think are going to give him troubles athletically and physically. Nolan Winter. What do you have for Nolan Winter?
Okay, so I put him at 28. So a big jump, 7 more minutes. Obviously, last season, 21 minutes per game. So a big jump for him. I know the entire Badger fan base is expecting a huge leap from Nolan Winter this year. You're going to see that in the minutes, and he potentially could be the most valuable player in the draft next year for the Badgers as well with his height and his shooting ability. So, yes, his numbers per minute is going to be going up quite a lot or significantly, I believe. I got him at 28. The reason I didn't go a little bit higher, obviously, he's a big man. He's really going to be playing the 5 a lot, holding the 5 for us. I don't see a lot of opportunities for him to be playing the 4 unless Elijah Gray is in, which even then I'd rather put him at the 4. So I just don't think his flexibility isn't as much as last year with Stephen Crowell, where that you could flip him from the 5, and if Crowell was in there, you got him at the 4. So his versatility is not as good as last year, but the jump is going to be there where he's going to get more minutes either way.
Yeah, we're on track with this one too. I have him at 28 minutes as well. So dead on. For all the same reasons. The other thing I'll throw in there, and you mentioned playing the 5, he's basically taking Crowell's minutes now. Crowell's at 27, 28 last year.
Yes.
He's going to get foul trouble more often. He's going to be that last line of defense. He's going to be protecting the rim a little bit more. He's going to be in spots where he commits a few more fouls. I think that's also going to drag down those minutes per game because there's going to be a couple games where he picks up 2 quick ones, or he gets a third one with 7 minutes left and they just pull him. And I think those things are going to weigh that down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to be watching that game where in the first 5 minutes Nolan Winter has 2 fouls. That's going to be a bad game to watch.
Badgers will go very small if that happens. All right, we're going to take a quick second. We hit the starters. I think the bench is going to be fascinating. How many minutes does Bialuskis get? Janicki, Carrington, Gray, somebody else, some other wild card in there? We're going to hit that next on Locked On Badgers, plus a bunch more awesome basketball talk. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show over at FanDuel. Listen, summer's in full swing. I love baseball. I talk about it all the time. I love betting on baseball because every day that you have a new set of starters and momentum shifts with every starting pitcher, but there's also golf, there's soccer, and you can do it all over on FanDuel. FanDuel is phenomenal to use. It's easy, spice up your sports weekend. Always do it responsibly, but you can get great action, any type of betting action that you want, parlays, futures, teasers, spreads. We talk about the future on Wisconsin a lot, that 5.5. I am definitely going to take the over on that because I take it every year and I can't be wrong 3 years in a row, right? Yeah, that's why I'm not a great gambler. But I'm going to do that anyway on FanDuel because it is fast, it's easy, it's simple to use. The payouts are quick, it's efficient. Right now, if you're a new customer, you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started over at FanDuel.com. Really do appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's get Landon back on here. Let's start with the bench. I'm going to kick it to you first. Who is the top minutes getter on your bench?
All right, for me, I got Jack Janicki coming in at 20 minutes on mine. And that is just because I think Greg Gard is going to be playing him because this kid, and we're going to have another question about this later in the show, so this might be alluding to this a little bit, but this kid's going to be the grinder. I fully expect Jack Janicki to take place of Cam last season and getting the hustle plays and just being the kid lost a tooth, for Christ's sakes, against Minnesota. This kid doesn't care at all. He goes and gets done what needs to be done on the floor and doesn't care about his stats. So I put him at the top. I think Greg Gard's going to really feed into that. He's going to be the energizer coming off the bench this year. And because of that, I put him a couple ticks above Carrington.
Yeah, I love it, man. Now, this is the first one that we're not drastic, but we're pretty far off on. I have Janicki at 13. So
okay.
Which is a reasonable, that's a regular rotation guy, but not at 20. Let me ask you this, because I love the floor game that Janicki has. The assisted turnover ratio is borderline elite. He just didn't play a ton. I think he has a great feel. He works hard. He has all those intangibles that you look for from a bench guy. Can he shoot it well enough? Because that's the thing. You're not getting 20 minutes if he shoots like he did last year.
That's true. He's got to be able to shoot. Greg Gard's not going to put him on the floor as much as if he can't shoot to follow Kirk Penny's offense. Where I would say is we saw the flash in one of the biggest moments last year in Mackey Arena in West Lafayette when he dropped, what was that, like 13, 15 points, something along those lines.
A couple key offensive rebounds and like a deflected pass. Yeah, he's the floor game for sure.
If we get that and he's able to score like he did there in one of the toughest places in the country, if he can take that jump and make that more more, I can't think of another word other than normal. But if he can consistently do that this season, I think that Greg Gard's going to be able to trust him and put him out there.
Okay. No, I love it. I'll get you my top bench guys, Carrington. I have him at 21. Okay. Played 27 last year. I definitely don't think he's getting 27 this year, barring injuries, but I just think he's going to be that first piece off the bench that do we need him at the 1, the 2, the 3? He's going to be flexible, versatile, wherever we need to play him. I think he's going to have kind of across those top 3 spots the ability to play any of them, which Gard is going to use. So he's going to get a few minutes on each of them, which gives him more minutes opportunities. And I think he gives you some optionality because you can put him in as a point of attack defender, as a floor spacer, as somebody that can get in transition, somebody who gives you some toughness and some veteran presence. I don't think he's a great ball handler or decision maker, but I think he can give you a lot of the other things that he's a veteran. I got him at 21. Where are you at on Carrington?
I got him at 18. So okay. just a few ticks beneath Janicki. The reason I did that, so again, taking a little bit below where Cam was last year. And I also think that Carrington's going to be kind of that Carter Gilmore coming off minutes-wise. He had 19 last year. My reason that I went a little bit below that, again, I'm in that kind of wait until I see a moment with him coming from Tulsa. I know he was at Minnesota before that, but it's been a year. We'll see how he adjusts back to the Big Ten. Coming out of a Group of 5 conference. So I'm going to kind of a wait and see how he's going to be able to get back into that Big Ten mode come 2025, 26.
No, that's totally fair. Like we've seen that jump of level of competition, staying a couple people up, trip a couple people up. So I'm guessing he is your second guy off the bench, though.
Yes.
Who's your third?
My third guy is Gray for reasons other than where's our height coming from this season, other than Nolan Winter. So Nolan Winter can't play 40 minutes a game. So you're going to have to put some height out there. Greppy, I think I put him in kind of a spot where it's like 5 minutes left for the freshman kind of a section. So unless he's, jumped up from last year and has got a lot of practice through last season, I don't think that he's going to be able to see the floor as much. So Nolan Winter needs a break. Insert Elijah Gray.
How many minutes a game you have for him?
For who?
For Gray, unless I missed it.
Oh, 10. Oh, sorry, 10. I got him 10.
Yeah, so he's next for me as well. I got him down for 13. And listen, the same reasons. He's your backup 5 who can also play some backup 4. I do think there's going to be times where maybe you put Gray in, and then if you want, you can slide Winter over to take Rapp's spot, and then the positions at that point get a little fluid. But yeah, I have him at 13 a game. I have some real questions about his fit into this offensive scheme. Like, I don't know if I trust him as a shooter. He's not a very good decision maker, but he is physical. He is long. He is strong, and he will draw some fouls. So he's going to do some things. I'm a little worried about the fit, if I'm going to be honest, offensively. But it's to your point. What's the other option? Like, it's got to be. So, yeah, great. My next up, I got Bialuskas at 7.
Same.
Kind of on my rotation.
Yep, same. 7.
What are your thoughts on Bialuskas? Is he your back? He's your backup 4, in my opinion. I think he's your backup 4. I want to ping you on this because all these guys we talked about, that gives you 9. Gard doesn't go 9 deep usually. So are we just doing the thing where every year we're like, I bet you there's going to be these 9 guys, and then you look up in January, February, and there's 7 guys playing?
Yeah, I don't exactly. We're kind of getting really deep here. Even with the 7 with Bialuskas. Yeah, I don't know, Ryan, of how much he's going to be able to contribute this year. Obviously, he's got a lot of pedigree coming over. We'd love to see him play, but again, we've also got those 3 freshmen coming in that are pretty high too. So I know that's not in the position spot, but again, the minutes is 200. How is he going to be able to fit into this? I don't quite know. I put him down for 7 though, because I do think he's going to get in, but the contribution is it's not there for me.
I think that's fair. Let me ask you, because I've been pretty consistent saying I think Kins is going to carve out a role, and then when I did this exercise, I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Who's the guy most likely to break into this rotation that we didn't talk about? To me, it is Kinzinger. That is my guy that I think is most likely, but I know other people are high. I think Reppy could take a step. There's Robeson out there. There's still Garlock. Hayden Jones is coming in. Who is your guy that can break into this group?
I put Kinzinger on next on that line. But then I heard, Joe Krabinoff talk on the swing about how much he loved Will Garlock. And then I kind of stepped back and I'm like, whoa, is he going to be the freshman that was it all along and not Zach Kinzinger? So I'd like to stick on that. But when I hear an assistant coach start talking about a freshman like that and not the other one that I was thinking about, that makes me think that Will is probably going to play over Zach, maybe just a little bit.
I think it's fair. The one thing that Garlock has is legitimate size. And you look at a lot of times when you're looking at the fringes of a roster, which is what we're doing when we're talking the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th guy on the roster, you're looking for something that they can bring that nobody else on the team does. And that is Garlock. Garlock is the biggest dude. Like, he's bigger than Winter, taller, longer. Kinzinger, his skill set overlaps a little bit with some of the shooting on the team. He's not necessarily bringing you something that a guy like Boyd isn't bringing you or Blackwell isn't bringing you. So maybe it is Garlock just because he brings you something unique and something that's functionally different than what you would see on the regular 5. I think that might make some sense, actually.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Interesting. All right. We're going to take one quick second. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. Landon may be one of them. I know people think I'm too high on Steven Crowell and what he did last year. I'm going to tell you why I think Steven Crowell is going to be harder to replace for this team than second-team All-American Tanje. That's coming up next on Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show. Quick second to say thank you for tuning in, as always, and helping us build this community. Landon, let me hit you with this. So, John Tanje, second team All-American.
Yeah.
Got drafted in the second round. Incredible player. The best offensive force on the team last year. I think Crowell's the harder one to replace. And it's because primarily what Tanje brought you was a lot of floor spacing, elite shooting, and then pressure at the rim with free throw attempts, free throw takes. I think you've replaced that really well with Rhodey, with Rapp, with Boyd. You still have Blackwell. I think the things that Tanje did that separated himself, that made him an elite player, I think you still have that mostly in spades on the team. The things that Steven Crowell did, being able to dump it in the post, draw a double team, and kick it to the corner, being able to play one-on-one as a 7-footer in the post defensively, you didn't replace either of those things. So I think, to me, that's the thing that you didn't replace. And I think they're going to struggle more losing Crowell than they are losing Tanje because of who they have on the roster. Am I crazy?
I wouldn't say you're crazy on this. I know on the call-in show I said big Steven Crowell fan. I loved him.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say, and you brought this up, but where is the front court passing from the portal? Steven Crowell's best part was if he got down low and got stuck with a defender that was around his size. His ability, his vision to be able to find someone open on the wing, driving, and his passing from there was elite. I don't know if that has not been replaced, and I think that a lot of fans, that is a stat that is not quite on the stat book. Being able to find people when you're in trouble, and Nolan Winter quite isn't there with that. Elijah Gray is just a guy that's going to go up and try and draw the foul, which might not be the best option at that point. So I think that's going to be the biggest loss from Steven Crowell. And when you get those passes, and that could be a 3 versus a 2 when John Tanje is just driving to the hoop.
Sounds like you kind of agree with me then.
It could be. It's tight. It's tight.
A
second team All-American is not easily replaced. And he did make Steven Crowell did make it onto the Jazz for, I can't remember what it was, but I saw that he was on there. So he is, in the summer league right now. But yeah, John Tanje, it's tight. It's tight.
Yeah, there's no doubt there. Like, Tanje's ability to just put the head down and get to the rim was unmatched, almost in college basketball last year. And I'm hoping Boyd gives you more of that. Blackwell should take another step up in that direction. But yeah, the 2 huge shoes to fill there as well. Let me hit you with a couple superlative type questions that I got here before you roll off. The first one is, what is the thing that is not being talked about enough on this roster?
Oh, I wasn't talking about the roster when I was thinking about this. When I said, or when you said what's something that hasn't been talked about enough, the first thing that popped in my head was, what happens if Greg Gard goes 3 for 3 in the portal and finds 3 All-American, just diamond in the rough players? It could happen to be Boyd coming from San Diego State. It could be Rapp out of Portland. What the heck happens if he finds 3 for 3 in the portal and doesn't quite? I mean, I don't know how much money they're spending on those people, but still, if you go 3 for 3, I know people are still going to hate him if he doesn't go far in March, but still, that is near impossible to find and go 3 for 3 and find stars just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I love that. And by the way, how good could this team be if he hits on those guys with Winter and Blackwell coming back? This team offensively could be, I've said it, this team could be better than last year because of Boyd, because of the shooting, because of the passing from Rhodey, because of the elite shooting from the 4 from Rapp, and now Winter's a 5. Bro, we both love Crowell, but Crowell was a reluctant shooter. Winter's not going to be like that. This team could shoot teams out of the gym next year if this works. And now you have a pick and roll specialist in Nick Boyd. Yeah, let me ask you this. What is it more likely that he goes 3 for 3? Let me rephrase this, because I don't think Boyd's not a miss. I was going to say, is it more likely on all or misses on all? Is it more likely that it was like last year where he just hits on one and there's a couple mediocre, like whether it's an Amos or Cam Hunter who can never get on track? Or is it a case where you think all 3 of them are hits to some degree, but maybe not living up to their ceiling?
I think it's the first one. I think it's probably harder to find 3 people that all contribute in a certain way and find the time on the floor and be able to adjust to the Big Ten and find the rhythm in the team. When I think that it's probably more likely that one person gets into this offense, finds Kirk Penny's offense, and just loves it and goes off. I think that is a better possibility than all three coming in and are like, oh, look at it, I'm so easy to score points, or I'm just blowing up the stat sheet, just like I thought I would. I think it's more possible for one person to do that.
Yeah, let me give you my thing that I don't think is getting talked about enough. I don't think people are realizing how incredibly impressive it was to shift what Greg Gard has done for so long into what Kirk Penny wanted to do. Coaches don't do that very often. Coaches are, by their nature, stubborn as all get out. And for better and worse, stubborn is not always a bad thing. But the shift that he was able to make culturally, egoless, handing over the reins, I think that's incredible. I don't think he gets enough credit for it. And now we're in year 2 of it. Now, some of those nuances, because offenses keep evolving. You add layers, you add nuance. Now, this offense might be even a little better suited for what Penny wants to do with a true point guard and an elite shooting 4. Again, I think what Penny did, the credit guard should get, and what this offense could look like in year 2 of it is not getting talked about enough because it could be special.
Yeah, that is a great take. I mean, it is so difficult for a coach to do that and step away from, kind of what he's done basically his entire life under Bo Ryan and defense heavy, and we're not going to just fire away at will. We're going to set it up. We're going to chew 15 seconds off the play clock, the shot clock at least, before we fire something out. To go away from that entirely and say, and to an assistant coach here, I'm putting my job, or not quite my job on the line, but everything I stand for on the line, and let's try this, and we're going to recruit this way. We're going to bring people in this way because I believe in you. What this vision is incredible. That's a one of one, in my opinion. I don't know how many coaches you're going to find that just totally flip in the direction of the way in their style of coaching.
Dude, not many, man. Give me this one. I think I already know your answer. Who's the guy that replaces Carter Gilmore? Who's the ultimate glue guy on this team?
Yeah, Jack Janicki absolutely is the glue guy to this. And I just think that this guy's he's gonna be the hustle monster. He's gonna be the clutch shot if we need it. I think that he's gonna get the tough rebounds on the floor. He's gonna be diving after basketballs. I think that he stands. I mean, he's not from Wisconsin, but pretty close with White Bear Lake. I think that he's got the Wisconsin in him to be that Brad Davidson, just, talk the talk. I'm going to walk the walk and take what's mine.
I think it's a great answer. I think it's him or Gray. I think Gray is going to just play kind of with his hair on fire, give rebounds, throw his body around for better and worse, by the way, with Elijah Gray. There's a lot of good I think he's going to be able to do. But yeah, Janicki's a great answer there. Let's finish on this question. We were going to talk about what we like most, but you and I have both talked about the offense a lot and some of these pieces. I think we've talked about things we really like. What worries you most about this team right now?
My worry is the free throw shooting. I know that's not quite what people have been thinking. Obviously, the front court depth is an obvious answer. I mean, we just don't have the front court depth. But if you think about this, first in the nation last year in free throw shooting, that's 5 points. You know how many 5-point games we had last year that if we don't make free throws, we lose? If we don't stay, we were 82.8% from as a team. That's unheard of. I believe that's second now all time, still underneath Villanova. Because, sorry, Ricardo Greppi, you boinked those two and cost us that. But not to bring that up. But, I mean, still, if you drop that down to 75, if you drop that down to 75 last season, I don't think you're a 3 seed. So if we don't keep that up, I mean, I think that everyone's going to be screaming at their TVs like we weren't last year when we went to the free throw line. The ease was there. Oh, gosh, the best free throw shooting team in the country. We got this. That might not be there this season with the new additions, to see kind of how that translates. You don't have John Tanje anymore. So that's my worry right now. Might be a little bit of a bold take. What are your thoughts on that?
I like that. Lost in last year's barrage of shooting was the fact that John Tanje put a tremendous amount of pressure on the rim. And that was a huge part of what we were able to do. He's gone. You lose that. Now, I will say that is something Gray does pretty well. Like, he has a pretty high
Yep,
free throw
he
rate.
does. Yes, he does do that.
Boyd will get to the line a couple times a game, but collectively, you're gonna have to make that up to get to Tanje, and even then, you're not going to get there. So I think you're gonna leave some points on the table there. I think it's a really good take. I think it's a good one, and one that I haven't heard talked about much. I still think they're going to shoot the ball well from the line, but
Yeah.
how often are they going to get there?
Yeah.
That's a real thing. I wanted to pivot away a little bit from mine because I've talked a lot about front court depth.
Yeah.
I think is a concern, but I've talked about it a lot, and it's just kind of hammering a dead horse at this point. I think there's a concern about some athleticism, I think, on the perimeter at times. And I think Blackwell is a really good player, but defensively, I don't think he's a point of attack guy. I don't know if Rhodey is a great athlete. Rapp struggled with athleticism last year, defending athleticism. I think at that kind of 2 through 4 spot, and even if you look at the bench, you have a guy like Braden Carrington come over who's 6'4", but when you really dive into film on him, his closeouts, there's a little cautious. His foot speed isn't great on the perimeter. I don't know I wish we would have like just a really long, elite, athletic 3-and-D guy on this roster. And everybody wants that, right?
Yeah, you got a couple mil in the NIL fund you want to spend on that?
100%. Like, everybody wants that. But when I dive like under the hood of this team, right? And again, that's a Christmas list. Like, everybody wants a 3-and-D guy, center who can block shots. I get that, 100%. Point well taken. But I think everyone just looks at the front court depth. And I do think there's going to be games in the Big Ten where athletically on the wings, we're at a bit of an athletic disadvantage.
Yeah, that's totally a concern. The athleticism might not quite be where Greg Gard wants it to be. But I think that you just gonna have to put your faith in him and that he recruited who he wanted to recruit, his system. Again, every team's not going to be perfect. I mean, they're going to have flaws. Ours just happens to be that, and we don't have the height this year. So how are we going to be able to make that up? We're gonna shoot the lights out of teams, and we're gonna get to 100 before they do, and hope the clock says 0.
Yeah, Bo Ryan would love hearing that phrase, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It is going to be a fun season, man. Landon, this has been phenomenal, dude. This 30 minutes went so quick. Thank you for jumping on. Tell people where they can find what you got going on, and then hopefully we can do another one of these as the seasons come up.
Yeah, so you see it there at the bottom of the screen, Tease Talk. I do everything through the school season. So we're in summer right now, so I don't have access to the radio station. So my first episode is going to be the 6th of September, Thursday night, 6 to 7. More of a general college athletics type of podcast, a little Badger bias in there. I will talk about the Badgers more than all the other stuff, but big headline news. I got some guests that come on, and we just kind of talk some college football stuff. So, yeah, if you just look up Tease Talk, you'll be able to find it on all the platforms for podcasts out there. But, yeah, thanks for having me on, Ryan. Super fun to talk about this, and I hope that you can come on my show here in the future, too, when we get into the school year.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Appreciate the time as always, my dude. And for everyone tuning in, thank you for watching Locked On Badgers. Today's episode, excellent guest. Really do appreciate everybody tuning in on Wisconsin, and we will definitely talk later.